How dominant was Lawrence Taylor actually? Lawrence Taylor was a rare breed. He became one of just 2 defensive players to ever win an MVP, was a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, and is considered one of the most feared players in pro football history. But just how dominant was Lawrence Taylor actually? Lawrence Julius Taylor was born and grew up in Williamsburg, Virginia. He started out as a really good catcher on baseball teams, but when he discovered football at 15, he was hooked. To him, football was way more exciting than baseball because there was always something happening, so he ditched baseball without a second thought. In high school, Taylor caught the eye of Lafayette High School coach Mel Jones, who spotted him in the hallway because he was a big dude and started playing football in junior year. However, when he graduated in 1977, he wasn't a big deal in high school football recruiting. Nevertheless, Taylor moved on to the University of North Carolina. Initially recruited as a defensive lineman, he spent his first 2 seasons playing on the line, but it didn't take long for his talent to shine through and for everyone to realize he was something extraordinary. Then, the Tar Heels assistant coach Bobby Cale witnessed Taylor's ferocity firsthand. He recalled Taylor's intensity and recklessness on the field. Taylor would soar into the air, blocking punts with incredible agility, only to crash down, sometimes landing awkwardly on his neck. It was this fearless style of play that earned him the nickname Godzilla, a moniker that reflected both his dominating presence on the field and his larger-than-life persona off of it. Before the 1979 season, Taylor made a switch to linebacker, and in his final year in 1980, he racked up an impressive 16 sacks, setting numerous defensive records. His outstanding performance earned him recognition as a consensus first-team All-American, skyrocketing his draft stock as the top college linebacker that year. When the 1981 draft rolled around, the New York Giants picked Taylor with the 2nd overall pick. But here's the kicker. Secretly, Taylor wasn't thrilled about playing for New York. He had his sights set on being drafted by the Dallas Cowboys. In fact, just a day before the draft, he sent the Giants a telegram, practically begging them not to pick him. And who could blame him? The Giants were in a rough spot, coming off 8 straight losing seasons with 4 different coaches during that time. Things were looking grim. Despite the rocky start, both sides managed to sort things out, and boy did everything change the day Taylor signed with the Giants. They thought they were getting a top-notch defensive player, but little did they know they were getting a player who would revolutionize the game. As soon as training camp kicked off, Taylor's talent was undeniable. His teammates started calling him Superman, and word about the rookie from UNC spread like wildfire across the league. He was so intimidating that even his quarterback, Phil Simms, couldn't wait for the regular season to start just so Taylor would stop hammering him in practice. Standing 6'3" and weighing 237 pounds, Taylor wasted no time setting the bar high in his rookie season. He racked up an impressive 133 tackles, 9.5 sacks, 8 passes defense, 2 forced fumbles, a fumble recovery, and an interception. His arrival completely transformed the Giants' defense, slashing their points allowed from 425 in 1980 to just 257 in 1981. They finished the season with a 9-7 record, a 5-game improvement from the previous year, and even made it to the NFL Division playoffs, although they fell short, losing 38-24 to the eventual Super Bowl champion San Francisco 49ers. Taylor's rookie campaign is often hailed as one of the greatest in NFL history. He earned the titles of NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year and the league's Defensive Player of the Year in 1981. But while Taylor was dominating on the field, he was starting to gain a reputation for recklessness off it. He began dabbling in illicit drugs during his rookie season, and to avoid getting caught, he started using his teammates' urine for the NFL's drug tests. Although his wild behavior nearly cost him his life when a speeding incident led to a serious car crash, prompting the Giants to take out a $2 million insurance policy on him. As wild as Taylor's rookie year was, his sophomore season was even more remarkable. In 1981, things started off a bit slow for him. It was a unique time in NFL history because for the first time, teams were throwing the ball more than they were running it. The league was evolving into a passing-centric style of play, with looser rules favoring offensive linemen and making life tougher for defensive backs. Suddenly, defenses found themselves at a disadvantage, but not the Giants. Taylor became their secret weapon. Under the guidance of defensive coordinator Bill Parcells, Taylor pioneered a new era of linebacker play. He essentially became the league's first pass-rushing linebacker, a one-man blitz machine. By the end of the year, he was named NFL Defensive Player of the Year for the 2nd time in a row, solidifying his status as one of the game's elite. Following the 1982 season, the Giants made a crucial decision to hire Bill Parcells as head coach, setting the stage for even greater success. But leading up to the 1983 season, Taylor caused a stir with a 3-week holdout during training camp. He eventually returned under his old contract, just in time for the preseason. Despite some challenges during the 1983 season, including being shifted to inside linebacker for part of the year, Taylor continued to dominate. He recorded 9 sacks and made history by earning All-Pro honors at both outside and inside linebacker positions, a first in NFL history. Not only was he proving himself as one of the best players in the league, but he was also gaining a reputation for playing through pain, because in the 1983 game against the Eagles, the team's training staff had to hide his helmet to prevent the injured Taylor from returning to the field. After the season, Taylor found himself in a contract dispute involving Donald Trump's New Jersey Generals of the USFL. Fortunately, things got sorted out, and Taylor returned to the Giants for the 1984 season with a bang. He quickly racked up 4 sacks in a September game and finished the season with 11 sacks, earning his 4th All-Pro selection. In the playoffs, the Giants had some ups and downs. They defeated the Los Angeles Rams, but fell to the eventual champion 49ers. However, the team entered the 1985 season with optimism after a successful 1984 campaign. With Taylor leading the charge, the Giants boasted the NFL's top sack total at 68. Taylor contributed 13 sacks himself, including a memorable takedown that unintentionally ended Redskins quarterback Joe Theismann's career with a gruesome leg injury. In the playoffs, the Giants stunned the defending champion 49ers, but couldn't get past the eventual champion Chicago Bears in the second round. Despite the disappointment, Taylor's impact on the game was undeniable, as he was slowly and gradually cementing his legacy as one of the best defensive players in the league. That said, Taylor's 1986 season was downright legendary, marking the pinnacle of his career. He set the bar sky high with a jaw-dropping 20.5 sacks, smashing records left and right. Not only did he scoop up the NFL's MVP award, becoming just the 2nd defensive player ever to do so, but he also clinched his 3rd Defensive Player of the Year title. And let's not forget, he did it all while helping the Giants cruise to a stellar 14-2 finish. In the playoffs, Taylor and the Giants bulldozed their opponents, trampling the San Francisco 49ers 49-3 and blanking the Washington Redskins 17-0. The Super Bowl was the icing on the cake, with the Giants stomping the Denver Broncos 39-20. Taylor capped off an incredible start to his career with this Super Bowl victory. In just 6 years, he had racked up an impressive list of accolades, from Defensive Rookie of the Year to multiple Defensive Player of the Year honors. He had become a force to be reckoned with, feared by all who dared to line up against him. Taylor wasn't just a football player. He was a phenomenon, standing 6'4" and weighing in at 240 pounds. He was a powerhouse on the field. His speed, strength, and sheer ferocity made him a nightmare for opposing offenses. And he didn't play by the standard book, because while other defensive stars studied film for hours on end, Taylor relied on instinct and raw talent. He was like a force of nature, wreaking havoc on quarterbacks with reckless abandon. Double teams, triple teams, nothing could slow him down. Taylor's motto was live fast, die young, leaving a trail of battered quarterbacks in his wake. But it wasn't just his dominance that set Taylor apart. It was his impeccable timing. When the game was on the line, he rose to the occasion, delivering game-changing plays with precision. He became New York's ultimate showstopper, inspiring a new generation of defensive stars. Soon, every team wanted their own Lawrence Taylor, and his offenses scrambled to find ways to contain him. They realized they needed the most athletically gifted tackles in the game. Despite their bright prospects following their 1986 championship, the Giants hit a rough patch the following season. In the strike-shortened 1987 season, they stumbled to a disappointing 6-9 record. Taylor missed 4 games due to the players' strike, but still managed to lead the team with 12 sacks in just 12 games. Hoping to bounce back in 1988, the Giants faced early season turmoil when Taylor tested positive for cocaine, resulting in a 30-day suspension, his 2nd violation of the NFL's substance abuse policy. This was his 2nd offense. The first one in 1987 had been kept under wraps. Taylor took a step back from the limelight, checking into rehab in early September. The team struggled in his absence, going 2-2 in games he missed. However, upon his return, Taylor picked right up where he left off, leading the team in sacks with 15.5 in just 12 games played. One of Taylor's most memorable performances came towards the end of the season when he played through a serious torn pectoral muscle. Despite wearing a shoulder harness to keep his shoulder in place, he put on a show, recording 7 tackles, 3 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles in a single game, forcing head coach Bill Parcells to call it the greatest game he had ever witnessed. Taylor continued to battle through the pain in the 1989 season, playing the final 5 games with a fractured tibia, yet he still managed to rack up an impressive 15 sacks, leading the Giants to a 12-win season. He was also honored as defensive co-captain alongside teammate Carl Banks. Despite Taylor's heroics, the Giants fell short in the playoffs. In a thrilling game against the Rams, despite Taylor's 2 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. The Giants were eliminated in the first round with a 19-13 loss. Taylor's career continued to be marked by controversy, with the 1990 season seeing another holdout during training camp as he pushed for a larger contract. Despite the off-field distractions, he still delivered a stellar performance on the field, helping the Giants start the season with a perfect 10-0 record and finish at 13-3. Although he posted 10.5 sacks and earned his 10th Pro Bowl nod, it was the first time he wasn't selected first-team All-Pro. In the playoffs, the Giants dominated the Bears 31-3 and narrowly edged out the rival 49ers in the NFC Championship game with a 15-13 win, setting up a showdown with the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl. In a nail-biting finish, the Giants secured a 2019 victory thanks to a missed field goal by the Bills' Scott Norwood on the final play, giving Taylor his second championship title. However, the following season proved to be a major disappointment for Taylor as Bill Parcells retired, and the team was led by Ray Handley. His production declined, and for the first time in his career, he failed to make the Pro Bowl squad. Ending a streak of 10 consecutive appearances, Taylor managed just 7 sacks in 14 games, and the once dominant Giants defense began to show signs of decline. In 1992, Taylor's season was cut short when he ruptured his Achilles tendon in early November, costing him the final 7 games of the season, and the Giants struggled without him, going 1-6 in his absence. Determined to end his career on a high note, Taylor returned for the 1993 season and managed to play in all 16 games. Though his performance wasn't what it once was, the Giants enjoyed a resurgence, finishing 11-5 and leading the entire NFL in total defense. In the postseason, they defeated the Vikings but were soundly beaten by the defending champion 49ers. Following the loss, Taylor announced his retirement. Reflecting on his illustrious career, he said, "I've done everything I can do. I've been to Super Bowls, I've been to the playoffs, I've done the things the other people haven't been able to do in this game before. After 13 years, it's time for me to go." At the time of his retirement, Taylor left behind a great legacy with 142.5 quarterback sacks, 1,088 tackles, 33 forced fumbles, 10 fumble recoveries, and 9 interceptions. He solidified his status as one of the greatest defensive players in NFL history. Plus, his accolades speak volumes. 10 Pro Bowl selections, 8 All-Pro nods, and 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards, and stands as just one of 2 defensive players to ever been named the league MVP. Yet, Taylor's on-field greatness was often overshadowed by his off-field troubles. Battling substance abuse both during and after his career, he struggled to rein in his destructive tendencies. The same wildness that fueled his football prowess seeped into his personal life. Nevertheless, Taylor's impact on the game was undeniable. He revolutionized defense, pass rushing, and linebacker play, forever changing the way offenses approach blocking schemes. He was a pioneer, a game changer, and a force to be reckoned with. When people talk about how defense wins championships, Taylor embodies that sentiment. He didn't just play the game, he transformed it. In reality, we'll probably never see anyone like Lawrence Taylor again, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications.